Grief, One Day at a Time. 365 Meditations to Help You Heal After Loss by Alan D. Wolfett, PhD. October 28th. Sometimes when one person is missing, the whole world seems depopulated. A quote from Lamartine. The French don't say I miss you. They say tu me manques, which means you are missing from me. The people we love are a part of us, and when they die, they go missing from us. That's why we often say that whenever someone special dies, a part of us dies too. This sensation of something essential now being missing in our lives is the hardest part of our grief to learn to bear. It will never go away. We cannot fill the hole with other people, activities, or belongings. It's unfillable. Yet maybe we can come to an understanding about the hole. It is now a container for our memories and love for the person who died. And while the memories and the love are not a substitute for the person's presence, they too are priceless beyond measure. The meditation reads, "You are missing from me. I am learning to live with the whole." October 29th. I am learning every day to allow the space between where I am and where I want to be to inspire me and not terrify me. A quote from Tracee Ellis Ross. We're here, and we know that feeling better is way over there, on the other side of the Grand Canyon of our grief. There's a big space between us and healing. Knowing that can make us feel discouraged, depressed, and afraid. But we can see it as a challenge instead, that canyon. It's never a challenge we'd choose. We'd rather have our special people back here with us. Since that's not possible, though, we can learn to think of our grief as an opportunity. The journey's gonna be rough, but it's also gonna change us. Maybe we can look forward to meeting the us that we will have become on the other side of that canyon. The meditation reads, "My grief is a grand canyon, but I am feeling inspired to get to the other side." October 30th. We all wear masks, and the time comes when we cannot remove them without removing some of our own skin. A quote from Andre Bartholomew. Most of us grievers get good at wearing masks. Our culture tells us we need to buck up, keep it together, and move forward. And so we go about our day-to-day lives doing what needs to be done, all the while wearing a mask that belies our true thoughts and feelings. But here's the thing. We don't have to be different people on the outside than we are on the inside. We can be honest about our true thoughts and feelings. Healing our grief requires expressing it openly and honestly. Let's take off our masks and stuff them in the closet today, even if it feels scary. Watch what happens. The meditation reads, "Especially when I'm around friends and family today, I'm going to intentionally take off my mask. October 31st. Do you not know that a man is not dead while his name is still spoken? A quote from Terry Pratchett. In Mexico and other parts of the world, while we here in the United States are partaking in Halloween festivities on October 31st, millions of people are celebrating Dia de Muertos, or Day of the Dead, a holiday that begins today but lasts for 3 days. Families build altars to their dead loved ones and visit their graves, bringing favorite foods, drinks, photos, and memorabilia, and special decorations as gifts. The idea is to encourage the souls of the departed loved ones to visit the living during this time so that the living and dead can communicate. How wonderful for entire communities and cultures to spend 3 days every year acknowledging loss and ritualizing the reality of undying love. We don't have to live in a community that celebrates Day of the Dead to remember our departed loved ones. We can create our own daily, sporadic, or special occasion holiday rituals to remember them and affirm our continued love for them. After all, Day of the Dead is every day in our hearts. The meditation reads, I will speak the name of my dead loved ones and find ways to regularly remember them. November 1st. In the book of Genesis, darkness was first, light came second. A quote from Barbara Brown Taylor. In this darkening time of the year, I am reminded of the need for darkness in grief. After the death of someone we love, the dark night of the soul can be a long and very black night indeed. It is uncomfortable and scary. It hurts. Yet if we allow ourselves to sit still in the blackness, without trying to fight it, deny it, or run away from it, we will find that it has something to teach us. Befriending the darkness of grief takes courage and hard work, but it is only in doing so that we will eventually be able to re-enter the light. The meditation reads, in grief, darkness is an essential step on the way to light. November 2nd. The boundaries which divide life and death are at best shadowy and vague. Who shall say where the one ends and where the other begins? A quote from Edgar Allan Poe. In the Celtic tradition, thin places or spots where the separation between the physical world and the spiritual world seems most tenuous. There are places where the veil between heaven and earth, between the holy and the everyday, are so thin that when we are near them, we intuitively sense the timeless, boundless spiritual world. Thin places are usually outdoors, often where water and land meet or land and sky come together. We might find thin places on a river bank, a beach, or a mountain top. Sacred spots such as cathedrals, mosques, temples, memorials, cemeteries are also often thin places. But really, wherever you feel a sense of otherworldly transcendence is a thin place for you, though it may not be for me. Where do you feel closest to the person who died? Go there. The meditation reads, when I stumble across a thin place, I will take note and I will return there often. November 3rd. Depression is nourished by a lifetime of ungrieved and unforgiven hurts. A quote from Penelope Sweet. Whenever we experience losses in life, we feel the hurt inside us. We grieve. But unless we explore and express those griefs outside of ourselves, in other words, unless we mourn, we end up carrying the hurt forever. And in the carrying, the hurt transmutes into difficulties with trust and intimacy, depression, anxiety, substance abuse or other addictions, and or physical unwellness. Carried grief squelches us. It extinguishes our divine sparks. The good news is that it never is too late to mourn old griefs. Through recalling and embracing long buried feelings, we can step forward into a joyful aliveness we never thought possible. The meditation reads, I so want to live my best life. I will work toward uncovering and mourning all my carried griefs. Please share, subscribe, like, and remember that you are not alone.